Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News Channel. I talk about VeChain and VeChain developments, and there are developments that actually might be more important than major partnerships for future price implications. And you might think I'm crazy, but like some of these like integrations into NFTs and DeFi, I think will actually be a lot more important. Not this one specifically. I don't know how big the one for XP network actually is, but it is a multi-chain NFT bridge. What we've actually seen in the last bull run in 2020 and 2021 is that realistically, what was driving the price, and I think what will be driving the price in the next bull run is like on-chain metrics like NFTs, DeFi, retail uses for the chain, not industrial uses. Yes, VeChain does have industrial uses. So does like Cardano and XRP and such. But what we've seen from those is they're nowhere near affecting the price. And for VeChain specifically, we saw that once we got up to like 6-7 million burn per day or more, they basically and people started speculating on Vitho. They basically took down the price of Vitho for each transaction. Well, they didn't affect the price of Etho, but they took down the number of Etho required for burn. So like, it wasn't too expensive for transactions. So the thing is like the companies are going to be protecting their ecosystems and making it not too expensive to make transactions, and they've actually done that. Now, look with the Cardano Africa thing with Ripple ODL, we've seen like them tout like massive growth, but realistically, like even with their touted like 10, 20x, 30x fold increase or whatever, you're really not anywhere close to affecting the price. And even if you took over a lot of the market, you may not really affect the price that much. I mean, that's really, if we really look at it for VeChain right now, since the 100x decrease, they're basically burning like 60, 70,000 VeTho and generating hundreds of millions. So you would have to like 1,000x adoption, which is going to take a very, very long time. And even if VeChain gets very good adoption and the foundation does very well with the partnerships, VeTho itself may not actually, like VET itself, may not need to be impacted all that much. A lot of the times, I do feel like a lot of these companies, whether it's Ripple, like VeChain, or any other one, I think they're kind of like dangling their coin in front of you, um, making you hope for massive, massive gains. While I think they themselves know inside that for us to be successful for our industrial use, it doesn't really need to be that expensive. And people will speculate on these industrial partnerships, but what really drives both speculation and utility in terms of the actual token is actually like the uses from retail. And remember, retail is the one that really impacts price because retail investors generally buy on exchanges and move up the price. Industrial investors either get it either from the company itself or some OTC method. And like the whole theory with the government's buying it back at like thousands of dollars, that's just not going to happen. That's like a pie in the sky thing that someone invented in Fantasyland and they just got spread around on the basically the cultish networks. Though that's not really going to happen. But in reality, what happens with DeFi's is like people lock up large amounts of the coin. They do make it more scarce, and when people see those large numbers locked up, they want to FOMO in on the coin, and that rush to buy the coin, that's what drives the price up. Now, one of the reasons I believe that VeChain didn't really have the rush, I mean, like VeChain did go 3 times its all-time high this bull run over last bull run, but the thing is, more like some of the coins went higher, and if you notice, all the coins went higher had really, really big communities of NFTs and DeFi. Now, VeChain has 2.0, and I think finality is very important because it'll make it easier for developers to actually develop on VeChain and have the performance that they actually need. But doing these cross-chain bridges and integrating with certain networks, I think, will also be important because it will provide the liquidity and it will actually make VeChain more available to basically like investors on other platforms. So while I'm not really sure how much XP networks partnership and integration really matters all that much, like I've seen other integrations, and I'm going to be paying a lot more attention to these integrations and which networks they're integrated with, how much liquidity they can possibly provide, and how much exposure it has to NFTs and DeFi, and especially how much development there is on VeChain after the 2.0 stuff comes out. Because yes, I'm sure a lot of partnerships will announce themselves on 2.0, and there might be some kind of FOMO, but in terms of like locking up VET and actually like affecting VET price instead of VTHO price, I definitely think like long term you need to look at the development of the community, and a large part of the development of the community is integrations, cross-chain bridges, multi-chain bridges, and stuff like that. So I think people really need to pay attention to stuff like this rather than just focus everything on, oh my God, big North American partnership, oh my gosh, big Chinese partnership. Because while those are cool, those integrations take years and years to do. And you might not see a price increase for like 5, 6, 7 years, if ever, for a lot of these partnerships. Whereas, like, as we've seen with like the DeFi and NFT stuff, you see the price implications of that stuff much faster because people are more willing to speculate on it, and people do see the numbers from how much value is actually locked, and the fact that there is millions of dollars of value locked does actually make it more scarce. So I think like stuff like this, XP Network's very good for VeChain. We need a lot more of these. I think people definitely need to focus less on like trying to get that one giant partnership and actually like look at the integrations, not only for VeChain, but for a plethora of platforms and how their actual ecosystem is actually developing. We'll go more in depth onto this in our live stream in an hour or two, but that's basically what I wanted to say for VeChain development. So hopefully this gives you like a new way to actually look at VET and other coins and like what's actually important that actually drives price. So if you want VeChain to $1, you want to see a lot more integrations with bigger networks for VET, and you also want to see like more community development support, maybe more funding to develop the community. Like I said, like the company's interests may not actually align with VET investors' interests, because remember, just because you buy VET doesn't mean you own a part of the VeChain Foundation. Just because you buy Cardano doesn't mean you own a part of IOHK. Just because you buy XRP does not mean you own a part of Ripple. Those companies can actually be successful while their coins stay fairly low in price. So based on that, you actually need to look for things that might directly affect the network and the coin itself. So that's what I have to say for today. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button, and I will see you guys later.